I actually did have some fun stuff planned. I know this is a boring podcast. I've been bored with Nelly, but I had some funny little, let's say, games we could play. This one's called Did My Balkan Dad Do It? I'm going to give you situations that you're going to have to tell me if I'm telling you a real thing that happened or if I've made this up.
Okay.
So I usually don't do games, but I don't know. I thought this would be a great little moment to test some things out. So I'll give you the first one. If I had a budget, I would have people like come in with flashing cards and like music, and it'd be like,
no. Well, yes, they beat you.
All right. So here's one. My dad almost went to jail for smuggling tomato seeds, like across a border. And if you want to take any of these ideas for you can take all of these. It's perfectly fine. It's all yours.
To the common public, they'll probably say no, but I just know in the Balkans that, for the smallest of things, crossing the border, they'll do you in for anything. So I could be wrong, but I'll say yes.
Spot on. Your Balkan dad sense is strong, I can tell. So he had actually seeds in his pocket. I think he totally forgot about them. Like who forgets about tomato seeds in their pockets, first of all? But so they reached and they were asking, and he pulled out. He had a salt thing, and they took the salt thing instead of the seeds. So like he was able to take those allegedly. All of this is allegedly, of course, if anyone's listening. Here's a good one. My dad brought a empty jar of Ivar for Djokovic to sign in Cincinnati before he was top 10 players in the world. This was like,
false.
Yeah, a long time ago.
False.
That is false. Wow. 2 for 2. What, that one's a little too crazy?
It's a bit too overboard Balkan cliche.
Balkan cliche. All right. Respect. My dad played for Crvena Zvezda.
I'm reading your facial reactions after you said that. That's trying to help me as well. Again, this is 50-50. And look, to be honest, for some reason, 80% of the dads that say they played soccer, they said they played for Partizan or Crvena Zvezda. So what the heck, I'll say true.
All right, we got you. That one's false. He played for a Srem, and it's like a smaller club, and they were in the first division. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Among them.
It's funny that you said that's a 50-50. Like, think about what that means. That means like 50% of dads, you might think they play for the best football club in the country and a Champions League winning club.
Well, that's like, as much as they boast and as much as Balkan dads overcompensate their memories,
right?
A lot of them were
good.
World-class. Yeah, they were world-class athletes because that's the only thing that they had to take them out of the struggle,
But let's imagine I was an English person. I said, yeah, my dad, I played the same quiz with you. And I said, yeah, my dad played for Manchester United. Manchester United.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the next one. So my dad coached soccer when I was younger. Most Balkan dads do that. He would buy pastries and give it to kids that scored goals.
Oh, there's a reason why I have to say that this is true, even if it's false, because my dad did something similar when I was playing water polo. So I'm going to say it's true, even if it's false.
Spot on. We have something called Tim Hortons here. He bought these little Timbits, and anyone that played well, he would give them some Timbits. He'd be like, good job, guys. And we actually won the league, so that was...
I used to play water polo like semi-professionally.
Holy shit.
And my mum, like every Balkan mum, when she makes food, even if it's a family of 5, she makes it for a family of 50, So either we throw it out or it lasts in the freezer for 6 years or whatever it may be. But she started making brownies. She's like, ooh, she started making brownies, and she started making too many brownies. And my dad said, well, look, we can't finish them, so I'm going to take them for the guys. And after we finished the match, he would go around and say, ooh, great job, guys, brownie. You know what? I'm going to make a video. And like, they were just talking seriously, like the coach is talking to them. My dad would just be on the corner like,
yeah.
Good job, brownie.
He would be so angry at some moments, but it's after the end, after we won, he was so happy to give everyone. He would go to the thing and buy more. He'd be like, yeah, let's get more. Like,
Oh, you're like watching the sport. Oh, don't even get me started. That's like peak embarrassment, as
Oh
a
yeah.
Balkan.
My
Peak
dad,
embarrassment.
my dad used to, because we when we moved to Canada, he didn't speak English a lot, and I started playing footy right away. And at the games, he saw some officiating that he didn't like. Wouldn't say like more than two words. He would just say "fuck it, f, fuck it," and he would yell at him like for 30 minutes after the guy's like walking home, be like, "What was this? What call? What call was this?" He was like broken English and complaining about like a 13-year-old playing soccer.
I honestly think that my dad may have had like minor ADHD because one time we were watching the water polo championships in New Zealand, Serbia versus I think Italy,
Mm-hmm.
and the ref called something bad, and my dad was recording all these Serbian people around us. No one was saying anything. Obviously, everyone's shouting, but after everyone finished, my dad stood up, went across the rail with a red face. Jebać ti mater da ti jebem. Znači doći dole da te ubijem, da te slomim. Ma mamu ti, like honestly, like with
You
conviction.
conviction, you felt it. Yeah, I feel that too.
Everyone was looking at him like yeah, we're swearing, but that's a bit too far,
Right. But I would still say I fear my mom more. Is that, I don't know if that's a me thing or if that's an every Balkan person thing.
Um, in what sense, physical or verbal abuse?
That's a great question. I feel like we're at a therapy session. Like if I got in trouble, I did something at school. Like my dad would be the opposite. He'd be like, just wait for your mom to get home. Like I got a little like from him, but then when yeah.
There's certain things. So like I failed a exam at university in my first year, and it's because I didn't study. I passed everything else with like A's and B pluses, but I just didn't study this and I failed it. And for like 2 months, I didn't tell anybody. And my dad progressively saw the nature, my emotions. My personality was drifting downwards. And one day he saw me walking up and down our backyard, like pacing, just literally going, "Fuck." And my dad came outside and he said, "Ma kačeš već jednom prestati? Like, when are you going to stop doing this? Like, what's wrong?" And I
Right.
said, nothing's wrong. And he looked at me and he said, "You failed an exam, didn't you?" And I was like, how the hell did this guy
He's in
know?
my
And he
head.
said, yeah. And he said, "Sina, when I was in your age, when I failed an exam, I was walking like that as well. So I know." And I said, "Are you angry?" And he said, "No, just tell your mother." And as soon as he said, "Just tell your mother," it's a Balkan dad's way of saying, "I'm not angry, but you're gonna get fucked
Yeah,
up by
you're
it."
I can't help you here, pal. You're on your own on this one.
And look, I did get verbal abuse, but my mom, honestly, and I'm not being sarcastic, she didn't look at me in my eyes for 2 weeks.
Jesus. Yeah.
She didn't acknowledge me. She didn't look at me. And after 2 weeks, there's just one day when she says, "Okay, I gave you all the verbal abuse, the
Yeah,
emotional.
yeah. You've felt
Now
pain. You're good.
come, come and eat, Sina."
Imamo pasulj za ručak. Come on,
Yeah,
dođi.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What I had the inverse of that though. I had another one where it was I failed music. I failed a music class. It was like grade 8, and the teacher was like upset. She wanted to talk to my parents, and my
Oh,
parents are like, music. Okay,
yeah.
so they came in. They had a little spiel with them, and my parents are like, we talk with him, of course. Music, very important. They get out of the class. I had like a 52 in music, or some really low mark. They're like, kako ide matematika? I'm like, dobro. It's like, okay. And we never talked about music again.
Yeah, that's just like I don't want to use the term like white people, but when I say white people, I mean just non-Balkan
Yeah,
people.
not about people. Yeah.
It's the same thing as my parents. They sometimes, they'll go to a parent-teacher interview and it's some random thing like media. And yeah, English needs to improve. And my dad, I'll come home and they said I'm bad at media, and he goes, "Šta me briga za media, kako je matematika?" Exactly the same as you. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't care. It's just like maths, physics, English,
That's it.
chemistry, biology. That's the important stuff.
The job skills.
That's what's going to make you an engineer.
They were kind of right. So spot on. Yeah, I got more actually, believe it or not. My dad fell off the roof setting up an illegal satellite dish.
Um, again, I could be wrong, but I'm just going to try and use my wits here and say, if your dad fell off a roof and potentially injured himself, I feel like he would have mentioned that he's injured or something prior. So I'm going to say false.
Wow. That's pretty good. Yeah. Spot on. Spot on. You're not bad. Here's another one. You can take all these for your videos, by the way. I just want to preface that. My dad gave me a table to wash while I was in the shower because it was, he said, convenient.
How big was the table? Yeah.
I mean, how much information do I have to give you here,
Well, give me the answer. No. Table is a big thing.
I mean, you have a slava, you have a small table, you have big tables, you have all kinds of tables. You could fold them, you have IKEA tables. It's not like the size of the table isn't, I guess, the crazy. The funny part is that you're not even thinking about this in the sense of like, who the hell gives someone a table? You're thinking about the size of the table. That's how we're on the same wavelength here.
Yeah, it's like, wait, the question isn't like table. No, that would definitely happen. Look, I'm going to say true just because I feel like it would happen.
True. That one's false, actually. It was not a table. It was a chair. He gave me an IKEA chair to wash mid-shower.
But it's still believable,
It's still believable, right?
Can you imagine? I just had a funny idea in my head that could progress that idea. You're having a shower and he's like, Sina, like, wash the chair. And you're like, what the hell? And he's like, wash it. And you're washing it. And then he pulls out vegetables from the garden and he goes, "Hi there, Patty." Like,
yache.
Yeah. He's like, "What the fuck, Dad? Why am I washing vegetables in the shower?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Use some soap."
Tu si već se kupaš, ajde bre, operi. That was honestly his reasoning. I was in the middle of a shower. He's like, "You're already there. Why don't you wash this chair?"
That's the whole Balkan dad sort of way. It's like, save as much money as possible, be as productive as possible. My way or the highway.
My way or the highway. That's spot on. I got one final one.
Okay.
I bought a Zvezda jersey for myself, and then I bought a Partizan jersey as a prank for my dad.
Well, the last one was false, so I'm just going to go based off statistics because, look, half of that's believable depending on your relationship with your dad, but the other half.
It's brave. The other half is really brave. That's a brave move.
Yeah. It's pretty much suicide. So, you're writing your death sentence. So, look, I'm going to say you're raised in Canada. Potentially his humor is a bit lighter. So I'm going to say, yeah. True.
That's spot on. I even have video of him and I got his reaction. And he told me, and I quote in the video, he's like, I would rather throw this in the garbage than wear it. And then it was a pretty special moment. I was like, yeah, this is awesome.